Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm here for the match review of Empoli AC Milan match that finished just moments ago. 4-1, the final score for the Rossoneri. Goal scored by Suso, Lapadula, he scored a brace, and an own goal from Costa. For Empoli, Saponara was the goal scorer, but really today the main important thing was to get the 3 points, and at the end of the day that is exactly what Milan did. We got the job done even though it was not in the best of fashions, and I'm going to be speaking a bit about how the game went in terms of episodes. I think that Empoli played a pretty good game altogether, especially in that first half where they kind of got unlucky not to score more than one goal. I think they had lots of chances, more chances than I thought that Milan should have let them have. But overall, we got lucky in a way to not concede much to Empoli in terms of goals. Because I certainly think that Empoli had all the chances today to score at least 3 goals. Luckily for us, they missed those chances. And at the end of the day, we were the ones to benefit after a great second half performance from the Rossoneri. So really, it was a tale of 2 halves for Milan, in my opinion. The first half, not that great. We surely got off to a good start with that Lapadula goal, but it was quickly after equalized by Saponara. And besides that, I mean, yes, we did have some chances here and there, but Empoli definitely looked the more threatening of the 2 sides going into the later stages of that first half. When it came to the second half, it was a completely different story. Milan just pounding on Empoli. Really good work from the entire team to secure the win and get goals one after each other. But speaking about certain players, once again, we have seen today how certain players could definitely bring this team to the top, and I think that is once again what Suso, Bonaventura especially have proved to show in this Milan team. 2 pillars, in my opinion, for this Milan team to bring them back to these places in the standings. I think they're just so instrumental and fundamental to the team, as we could see on a weekly basis. Without them, this team will pretty much be lost in terms of attack. Suso scored a goal and added 2 assists today. Currently, he has 5 goals in the league with 6 assists. That is the highest number of assists at the moment for any player in the Serie A. So very proud statistic for Suso there. Bonaventura, once again, what a game from him. And I think really you could tell that he's performing better as a winger than a midfielder. Surely he was doing well as a midfielder, but when you have that strength, that attacking strength, and that power to do well and push up forward, when you play as a winger, everything just becomes easier. And I think that Montella definitely could use Bonaventura as a winger more than the midfield. But that obviously poses a question of where to field Niang, because of course Bonaventura took his place today. Niang came on in that second half, but if Niang doesn't play as a winger, where would he be playing? That is the main question. So we'll see what happens with those remarks in terms of formations. But I really liked how Bonaventura and Suso once again brought this team to victory, really pulled them to that win and got and secured the 3 points. Great run by Bonaventura, by the way. The goal wasn't credited to him, but what a run that was. And really, he was smart enough to put the ball in that mess. And luckily for us, it hit off one of their players and then in the back of the net. But I think the main talk of today is Gianluca Lapadula. The guy got 2 goals, a brace. Now, obviously, today he had to show up. You have to show Montella and the fans of what he's worth, and he did that in just a great fashion, scoring 2 goals. Really, this guy has hunger. He's hungry. I like how he plays. I like players that are hungry. For you guys that have been watching my videos for a long time, you could tell that I really appreciate those type of players more than players with just skill. I love players that are hungry and give it their all. Those are my favorite types of players. And Lapadula is exactly that type of striker. He scored 3 goals so far this season in just 2 appearances, I believe. So that is just great numbers for Lapadula. And once again, this brings up the question if he deserves a chance over Baka, because Baka hasn't scored in about 6 weeks now, maybe more. And Lapadula just came out of nowhere and scored 2 goals. Definitely this means that he deserves a chance over Baka. In my opinion, like I mentioned the previous weeks, when Lapadula was coming on as a substitute, if he's showing great desire to do well and he's actually scoring the goals, I don't see a reason as to why he shouldn't be starting games. Today, he had the opportunity to show up and start in the game since Baka was out injured, and I think he definitely gave a big signal to Montella and the rest of the team of what he's capable of. So personally, I will keep going with Lapadula. We'll see what happens. Today, Baka missed the game due to an injury. He was in attendance at the Sevilla game. Now, obviously, that doesn't really mean anything considering links to his former club. But there's definitely a big question as to whether Milan will be planning to get rid of Baka maybe in January, or will they be waiting until June or next summer to get rid of him? Is that even a possibility for Milan? That is a main topic of discussion here. In my opinion, I think if Milan could get another striker for a less price than Baka, why not? But Lapadula, definitely, I love his hunger. And if he continues like this, then I think he will be taking Baka's place in no time. Of course, that can mean various things for Baka. Can lead to a depreciation in value for the player. But these are all decisions that Milan and Montella need to make when choosing the lineups. But when players deserve it, when players deserve a starting position like Lapadula did today, then I honestly don't see a reason as to why he shouldn't be starting. And I'm happy Montella chose him. What I'm willing to see is when Baka is back from his injury, who is he going to choose? That's going to be the main talk there. So in my opinion, if Lapadula wants to keep his place, needs to continue on this specific road, needs to continue what he's shown so far, and I think in no time he will be convincing Montella. So, yeah, pretty much, guys, it was a decent performance from Milan. As I said, much better second half than the first. Defense-wise, I think we could have done better with Paletta playing today. He was kept on the bench to rest him. And as you could expect, Paletta played in almost every game from the beginning of the season. So I think he deserved the rest. But I think you could argue the fact that we kind of missed Paletta today in the defense, especially in that first half, where Milan was pretty disorganized, to be honest. And like I said before, Empoli should have scored some goals. They didn't take their chances. And at the end of the day, it kind of bit them in the ass, if you want to call it that. But I'm really happy with this result. Happy that Milan won this game. Like Abate mentioned at the end of the game, this was definitely one of those matches that Milan wouldn't be able to win in previous years. And now look at us. We have won this match. And we also beat other teams, bottom of the table teams such as Pescara, Palermo, and Empoli today. These are all teams that we would find so much trouble against in previous years. I don't know if you guys recall. I think it was last year where we picked up something like 6 points in 6 games against the bottom 3 teams, which was just unacceptable whatsoever. Those are 12 points there at stake, in which at the end of the season could prove to be fundamental. So we definitely need to get those points against those bottom of the table teams. Speaking of which, next week we are actually playing Crotone, so that should be another win for Milan as we are playing at the San Siro. So hopefully we'll be able to get that win as well. So yeah, guys, send in your comments, send in your questions regarding today's performance. Definitely want to know what you guys think about the match, about the team in general, how you think they performed, and I will be answering your questions for the next 5 to 10 minutes. So let's start off with Caleb. He says, what happened to Matty Fernandez? Well, what a shitty debut it was for him, really. He lasted for about 9 to 10 minutes in the first half. Really, he didn't even get a chance to make an impact as he got injured, and Kushka came on. Not quite sure how I felt before the match of seeing Matty Fernandez start. I mean, yes, he was getting some playing time. He was getting some minutes under his belt in previous games. But to start a game, you kind of thought, you always had this idea in the back of your mind that he wasn't going to be playing the full 90 minutes since he wasn't match fit to do so. So maybe a kind of premature attempt from Montella to field him from the get-go. But I believe that maybe it shouldn't be that bad of an injury. Hopefully not. Matty Fernandez did come back after a bad injury a few weeks ago. So maybe he aggravated it. We'll see what happens. Some more questions here. Deschio made that error in the first goal of Empoli. Yeah, there was some miscommunication between Donnarumma and Deschio today, to be honest. Donnarumma didn't look the brightest, to be honest. But yes, he did make some mistakes. He had to come out. Maybe he could have waited until the defenders made that confrontation with the striker. But maybe that's just an instinct. As a goalkeeper, I would probably have the same instinct. He should have definitely patted that ball in the other direction and not back in the middle of play. But that is one of those things that just happens. Deschio, not the best performance from him. I definitely liked Abate much better today. Abate showed that grit that he didn't have for God knows how long, for many years. Today he was running. I saw him sprinting like no tomorrow, bringing back those glory days of 4 or 5 years ago. But yeah, Deschio, I don't know. I personally said this many times. I would prefer Antonelli to start instead of Deschio, and this could be a possibility after the management and the team evaluates this performance. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's not like he did terrible, but I'm expecting more from Deschio. Once again, not a consistent player on every term. You might get one game that he plays well and then 5 others that he plays bad. Not the type of player that we need in this team. Hopefully, he will start gaining his consistency again like we saw at the Euro. But once again, that all depends on him as well. Our MVS Gaming says, thoughts on the rumor that Baka was watching Sevilla in Spain today rather than Milan? Not 100% if it's true. Well, as I mentioned before, yes, he was in Sevilla watching the game, but he did get authorization from the team and the coach to watch that game. So the match wasn't in Milan. It was at Empoli. And, I don't think players are really forced to go watch their team if they're injured or suspended, for that matter. So I think it was more of a personal choice, and I could understand that. But at the same time, with Lapadula scoring goals, Baka not performing well, and him going to watch Sevilla games instead of Milan games, you could kind of tell that Milan and Baka are slowly parting ways, maybe. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we will not sell players like Suso. I definitely don't think so. I mean, Suso is one of the players that has been playing so great from the start of the season. Like I said, 5 goals, 6 assists. That is just amazing to see it from Suso. And I've said it many times. Suso last year did so well there when he was with Genoa that we just needed to bring him back, and I'm happy that he did come back, because look at him now. The guy is doing so good. Milan so far this season, 25% quality, 75% luck. I'm not too sure about that. I think there's definitely a better proportion than that. We have shown some quality. If we scored 25 goals in 14 games, I mean, that is pretty good. That is more than 1.5, almost 2 goals a game ratio. That definitely cannot be luck. Milan has been showing some very good things. To win 9 games out of 14, I don't think there's luck involved in there. I think there's definitely quality. A team can only get so lucky, like we have seen other teams in the past, like you said, Inter. But I definitely and really say this with my heart. I definitely tell myself every time AC Milan has improved from a few years ago. Yes, maybe we have more wins than we deserve, but that's football. That's calcio. You're gonna get wins that you don't deserve, and today was a prime example of that. I think Empoli, from the way that they played today, and especially that first half, deserved more than a loss. But they didn't take their chances. Milan took theirs, and they scored 4 goals against this very weak Empoli team. Gio, do you know what happened to Bonaventura? On Twitter, there were some reports that he got injured and then counted that we were missing a man. That's a very good observation because personally, I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice that we were missing a man. Personally, I don't know what happened with Bonaventura. Hopefully, he is not injured. I'm currently reading on Twitter to see if there are some updates concerning Bonaventura. But for now, I don't see anything regarding an injury or anything like that. There are some people asking about it, but I can't really find any concrete reports. There might be a link here, which I just saw. I'm going to be reading it now. But let's see what they say. They say that there's a physical problem for Bonaventura. Mediaset even confirmed this. He came off in the final minutes of the match. It seems like he has a problem in his left thigh. It could be. So, yeah, it just says that the medical staff is going to take a look at it. And sooner or later, we will know the extent of his injury. But they are stating that it is not serious. It is not a serious injury. But it's a good thing that he came off, of course, for precaution, because it's better to take him off, especially when we're winning 4-1, than risking to lose him for God knows how many weeks. Let's read some more questions from you guys. Why Milan not sell Honda? These are the type of questions I get every week, and I kind of laugh to myself sometimes because who in the world wouldn't want to sell Honda? The problem is when there's no request, why would you want or try to sell someone? Like, it's impossible to say that Honda, okay, yes, he's getting requests from certain teams, I'm sure of it, but you think that they will be willing to pay a certain price to give him away, to get him, I mean? Obviously, there needs to be some communication between the clubs. In my opinion, Honda will definitely leave next year. If it's not in January, he will definitely leave in the summer. But yeah, there is a good... Personally, I'm saying this. I think there's a good chance Honda could leave in January. But once again, if there's no concrete request, you can't just sell a player. No one wants him. Who are you selling it to? To the dogs? Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. Moving on, Locatelli always seems to start games poor, but then by second half, he's parallel. Yeah, I kind of feel that way as well with Locatelli, I find he's kind of slow to integrate himself in the games. But slowly, he picks it up. And I think that Locatelli, once he gets playing time in his legs, he becomes a whole different player. And that is exactly what I think about Locatelli. Nikesh says, Gio, please clear my doubt. 100 million euros was deposited after preliminary sign of the sale, right? That funding is available for the January transfer window. No, I don't think so. I mean, the January transfer window, yes. I'm kind of confused with all the sums, to be honest. But I think there's supposed to be more money in terms of the January transfer window. Because I remember something along the lines at the end of August, early September, where Milan couldn't do the final sale yet. And the transfer funds weren't to be allocated to the summer transfer window because it was too late by the time the closing was done. So maybe, yes, I know that there's going to be 100 million for sure in that winter transfer window, but I'm not quite sure if they were deposited just yet. That is what I'm saying. Honestly, I'm so confused with all those sums. It's incredible. I just can't wait until there's an official statement, an official report of the closing, so we know exactly what goes on. But yeah, that is a very good question, Nikesh. Sorry if I couldn't answer it most appropriately, but I know that Milan, if it gets sold, Milan will have 100 million euros to spend in January. Do you think Bertolacci will get a chance to play against Crotone? Not as a starter, that's for sure. Maybe if things are going well for Milan, Montella could integrate him in the second half. Did you see the new youth goalkeeper that was on the bench? Yes, I did. Are we Champions League ready with this form? How you doing, Jonathan? Champions League is a big word for Milan right now. I think it is still early. We are only 14 games in. There's still 24 games. So definitely that is a lot of calcio yet to be played. Milan is on the right path. I think if we can continue on this form until the end of December, it will be a pretty good indicator of where Milan could potentially finish at the end of the season. But at the same time, I think a lot depends on the winter transfer window. We're going to need some good, proper reinforcements. Sure, the team is doing good, but we need some depth in this team, and that is something that I've been stressing for a very long time. I think we have a pretty good starting 11. Players could integrate in this team if one is injured or missing, but we need a strong bench, and we definitely need to get rid of the dead weight. And I think Milan should be focusing on these factors more than anything for winter. But yeah, definitely Europa League could be a very big possibility at the moment. Champions League could definitely still be a possibility, but this all depends on how Milan continue with their results. As I said, still 24 matches remaining, still a lot of calcio to be played, and right now, I personally can't draw any conclusions, and I'm sure many people can draw any conclusions. I think we'll get a big indication in about 10 games from now. I would say maybe mid-January, February is where we're going to know exactly where Milan could end up the season, or at least get close to. Suso, man of the match, according to who scored, and I definitely agree with that. A goal and 2 assists today. What more to say than this guy being man of the match? He has scored in 3 consecutive games, guys. This is amazing for Suso. He has scored against Palermo, against Inter, 2 goals, and today against Empoli. Hi, Gio. Your thoughts on the youngest Milan starting lineup in the last 30 years? I think that this is definitely a big, big improvement from what we have seen in previous years, where we will be playing old players that were not willing to even play at Milan. And it kind of shows that the youth players being integrated in this team are more hungry, and they have been producing better results altogether. So I'm very happy to see that this is the youngest Milan starting lineup in the last 30 years, because this is exactly what we needed. We said it for many years. We need an injection of fresh blood in this team, and that is exactly what we are getting at this moment. Hopefully we'll continue on this road. I think that we still need a mix between experience and youth, but definitely the amount of youthness in this team is definitely what I like to see in Milan. Real Mako 1 says, if we beat Roma and they draw to Lazio, we will be 4 points above Roma, then we can title rush. Yes, that's obvious, but these are all predictions, projections, and so forth, which I don't like to make. I like to take games game by game, because that is exactly the type of concentration that we need. RMVS Gaming, why do Milan underperform a lot in the first half and do well in the second? It's frustrating. Yes, this is a trend that kind of seems to be following at Milan, like we have seen in previous games. Very weak first half, better second half. Not quite sure why that is. It seems like Milan always have that tendency to only start doing well when they're either behind or tied in the game, or where they feel the need to really push strong. That is when they go for it. I'm not quite sure why Milan has that tendency, to be honest, but hopefully that will change soon. As long as we're getting the results, I can't really complain, but we definitely need to work on that aspect to not only play in one half, but in both halves of the game for the full 90 minutes. And that is why also I think that Milan needs some reinforcements, because we need players that could come in and, at any time and give that energy to Milan, not only in the second half, but even in the first half. If a guy's not doing well or if he's injured, we need a replacement that will be getting his job done. Something like Kuchka did today with Mati Fernandez. Strong, physical, not the best performance, but, still pretty work ethic. Do you think Maldini needs to be given a key role in the club if the takeover does happen? Yes, and I do believe he will be getting a key role in the club. This all depends on the Chinese, of course, but from Maldini's old declarations a few months ago, I don't know if you guys really remember that, but he said that as long as Berlusconi is in charge, he won't be willing to take a job at Milan. And I completely understand that. He also said there's a clash of ideas between the two, and that is why he wouldn't be willing to come back. But under a new administration, under new management, there's definitely a possibility for him to come. Do you think that we should sell De Sciglio for good price in January Mercato? I think De Sciglio could get sold, but I just don't think that he's going to get sold just yet and so early as in January. Could definitely be a big possibility in the summer, though. I think De Sciglio had a lot of interest last summer from teams like Juventus, Napoli, if you guys recall. So yeah, maybe not in January, but a lot of interest could spark up for him in summer. A few more questions before I leave, guys. Jamie says Donnarumma could have done better today, and I personally agree with that comment. Usually I don't say that, but I think that Donnarumma was slightly off his game today. He didn't get much action that second half, but in the first half, some passes were off as usual. His distribution was not the best. I think in some instances, he needs to kick the ball up rather than risking passing it to De Sciglio, a guy that is prone to making mistakes. But yeah, this is definitely something that he's going to have to work on. And I've been saying it for a while now. Hopefully he fixes this problem soon. Yes, we should definitely sell Luis Adriano and Onda. Montella is a top quality coach. Ziu says Kuchka and Locatelli in the midfield. I definitely agree with that. I think these are definitely two guys that need to be guaranteed a starting position in that midfield. Today, I was kind of skeptic a bit yesterday when I mentioned the match preview about Mati Fernandez, Locatelli, and Pasalic starting. I wasn't too fond about that idea, and I do believe that Kuchka needs to start in that midfield. He definitely needs, Milan in general need to feel that physical presence in that midfield with Kuchka. So hopefully he gets a start. Do you think we should sell Baka for 20-30 million and benefit from it and get a great player if the Chinese don't buy Milan? Like I said, I do believe that Baka should get sold now at this point. Maybe he's going to get a few more chances to prove his worth. But when you compare Lapadula and Baka, like I've been saying to some people, you could just see the difference between the two players. Yes, Baka could could be clinical. He could get the job done. But how many times have we been waiting for Baka to get the job done? How many times have we been waiting for Baka to get the ball himself from the midfield, to show that he's hungry to score goals? And simply, we haven't seen it. Lapadula, on the other hand, he's hungry, he's clinical. Guys, this is a guy that scored more than 30 goals last season in the Serie B. And yes, it's a different league, but if in the Serie A he's capable of scoring goals like we've seen today, this could definitely be our striker. This guy could definitely be the player that needs to start every game as a striker for Milan. We are playing Crotone next week. For those of you that are asking, when will Calabria be back and should he start? I don't know exactly when Calabria will be back, but I don't know if Calabria should be starting in place of Abate. We'll see what Montella decides, but yes, I definitely love Calabria. I love how he plays. Abate was good today, but in other matches it could be bad. So we'll see exactly what happens, but I would definitely like to see Calabria getting some playing time once he comes back from injury. He's a very good youngster. I think he could do very well. In my opinion, I've always said it. You guys, the old subscribers in the channel, you could back me up on this. I've said it endless times. My preferred fullbacks are always going to be Antonelli and Calabria. Yes, I'm not saying that Ishio and Abate are bad. They are good players. But what I see in Calabria and Antonelli is the same thing that I don't see in Abate and Ishio. So we'll see what happens. That is just my personal choice. You guys might have different ideas, different opinions about those players, but that is personally what I think. All right, guys. So I think that's gonna wrap it up for this live stream. It was a very successful live stream with over 100 viewers. Guys, this is amazing. Thank you all for joining me. Another great win for Milan today with a 4-1 scoreline. Just giving you guys a little heads up of what to expect in for the channel now that you guys are all here. Definitely, it's been very rough few months for me. Been very busy with a lot of schoolwork, a lot of work, guys, more than any other semester this time around. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to make many videos as I would have liked. But the good news is that the semester will be done soon, and I will be back making daily videos once that is all done. So expect around the second, third week of December to start my transfer daily updates. Once again, where I pretty much update you guys on a daily basis with the latest news going on at AC Milan in terms of transfer news and so forth. So that's definitely going to happen. All this along with match previews, reviews, and so forth. I definitely want to make more discussion videos with other people. Maybe Adamo could come on, maybe some other guests. This is definitely something that I want. And obviously, guys, I don't mention this a lot on my live streams, but if you guys ever want to send in your fan reactions in terms of videos, something like this, what I do, but a lot shorter, around 2 to 3 minutes, where you guys just give your reaction on a specific game. You guys talk about it, giving your thoughts. I could definitely include that on the channel. Just hit me up on Twitter or Facebook. Send me the video. I'll take a look at it. If it's good enough, I'll be posting it on the channel. I'll give you guys credit. But that is definitely a possibility. As I said, Rossoneri TV is a channel for the Milan fans. I love making videos for you guys, but this is also an opportunity for you guys to showcase and to support your comments. Just talk, guys. Give me your opinions. You guys could send me videos whenever you want, speak about specific subject. Make sure it's not more than 3 minutes long. So let me know what you guys would want to do with that. If you guys are interested or not, just hit me up on Twitter or Facebook and let me know that you guys are interested. So that's pretty much it, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to Rossoneri TV to stay updated with everything going on at AC Milan and with all the videos that are going to be coming out soon. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. This has been Gio signing off, and as always, Forza Milan.